What up everybody, welcome back to the channel. We back from Mexico. I got my tan on and then I burned because I didn't put enough sunscreen on. I got blisters and you know the story. As you know, spring is just around the corner for most people, not in Canada, the snow still has to melt. But the race cars need to get done, so we have to continue working on the race cars. I just slapped that really hard and hurt my thumb. But we're gonna be working on the race cars a little bit more. I took the morning to reorganize the garage a little bit, and I realized we have accumulated a little bit of stuff. Our silly little cooler cart is here, our little pit trike, our turbo lawnmower, my car that's really sad I'm still waiting on an engine for it, and of course the wife's twin turbo Fox. Now just when you thought we were done under the car, I have more. In this box right here and those two boxes right there, they're actually subframe connectors, and they're a weird style subframe connector. It's a Stifler's weld-in subframe connector kit. I'll show you. And I'm hoping it's really strong because we don't want to put a cage in this car, but it is a T-top car, so there's a little bit more flex in it than if it was like a solid roof car. Now I haven't actually unboxed these things yet, but we're gonna do it live here on camera, so if there's any bloopers, you'll see them first. Use a center punch as a knife, always. It almost looks like they've painted it, but they've also taped it. So I'm wondering if you take the tape off right here, that is where you're supposed to weld. I've never actually installed subframe connectors before, so this might get interesting. And this piece looks like the additional cross bracing stuff that's going to brace the subframe connector into the existing chassis, I believe. Don't quote me on any of this, I didn't put under there yet, but once we get under there, all set up, I'll show you what it looks like. You know what's awesome? When companies give you great instructions. That's how it's supposed to be assembled. There's one for each side, so you can see there's this bar right here, right there, and then two cross braces, and then that main bar that I showed you earlier. We start with removing the seat bolts. Nope. Well, avoid what I just did there, because in the instructions it says replace these bolts with these bolts right here, except these are studs, and then on the bottom side of the stud, there's actually a stud to mount to down here, which I didn't think I was able to use this, but apparently the thing flexes enough that it sucks itself up into this. So I have to put a spacer there because I knocked that one out. Then as you can see, this side just bolted up. So I have to unbolt this one to take all the tape off. As you can see, I'm taking all the weld tape off this one. You're gonna wanna clean up the frame anywhere that you're gonna wanna weld. I like to use one of these little flappy wappy discs. You can get it from Princess Auto or Harbor Freight, same thing, same difference, Canada, United States. And makes it super easy. Do it. Well, other than the stupid bolt hiccup, we got the first one up in place. You know what? Not that bad a fit. And now it's gonna weld right into our... I might have to clean that up so I can put a weld here too. So I have to unbolt this again. I'm gonna clean the ends off because I'm gonna weld the ends right to this plate too. But these spots right here should be for our cross bracing right there. But I'm gonna drop this back down, clean this off, and I think we're gonna MIG weld this up in place. I know, I can't MIG weld, but I'm gonna try because it's gonna be way easier than trying to TIG weld all that with the gaps. The MIG welder, you just kind of like, meh, fill it full of wire and stuff, and then it's good to go. So it won't suck in tight to the pinch weld right here because of this plate that we welded in for our torque boxes. So I'm gonna have to cut a little bit out of our brand new connectors here, but it will give us an opportunity to weld this big bar into this big plate. We just have to flush cut this piece off with this plate, and then we can just weld this little edge right here onto the plate. It totally hurts me to do this. Cue sad music. Whatever, man. Now me, like every other man, really bad at instructions. So I'm not gonna try and skip any steps with this one. I'm gonna weld up the two main bars that go to the front, and we're gonna leave the bar that we just cut because I know it fits now. We're gonna leave that till after because I mocked it up. And we're gonna weld in the two bars with a trusty MIG welder, which I do not know how to use, which is weird because I'm pretty decent at TIG welding. Our hose didn't quite reach the ground on the argon bottle, so I guess the cooler cart now becomes a welding stand, which is kind of cool because it can roll still. Here goes nothing, wish me luck. It's the next day. We managed not to burn down the garage. It's all in place. Mind some of the welds. I hate welding gaps. They suck. Time to put on our bar that goes on the outside here now, and then the connectors that go that way. Also, you can help your boy by getting some merch. I promise you it's not this dirty. BoostedLifestyle.com. It's all in stock, all ready to ship, and it'll be shipped out the next day. Now we put this thing in place, and these things are actually slidable, and you have to weld them afterwards. So we tack them all where they're supposed to be, finish welding them, put it back in place, grind these pieces off so we can weld to the outside piece, put it back in, finish it. Not a huge fan of this taking it in and out the whole time. Wait. I'm not a fan of putting this back under the car, back into place. I'm a pretty big fan of the in and out sometimes. The 30-second man. I'm not sure why they didn't tape this piece off, because I'm almost certain we have to weld these pieces on. But yeah, it's weird that they powder coated everything else and taped everything else, but these pieces. And it goes a little something like this. Once again, much easier if I had a lift. This side is in and tacked into place. That is a lot of bars in there. And a lot of welding to still do, and I'm pretty sure we do have to stitch weld like the little seams to this bar right here. That's the only place I can see to weld it. We definitely went a little bit above and beyond on this car. We didn't really need to go this crazy. Could have just did some subframe connectors and didn't have to do the upper and lower torque boxes, but I like doing things for the experience. I really regret doing a lot of it because it is a lot of on the ground shitty work, but it's gonna be, like, when the car is done, it's gonna be an awesome, awesome chassis. And just to remind you, this is how cool the engine bay is. Intercooler. Isn't TIG welding the coolest? It just comes out much cleaner than like a MIG weld. Like that's a MIG weld on the bottom, and then that's a TIG weld right above it. Also, March 11th, which is today, Formula One Drive to Survive came out. And I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoy the show. I'm not much for watching every Formula One event because I feel like there's not enough like action in the racing. But the way they cut up this show and they edit it and put it all together, it's friggin' sick. I love it. The behind the scenes stuff and the drama, and it's super cool. I enjoy it. So my nightlife might not have much of it because I'm gonna be watching that show. We are working on the second side right now. It's just, man, once I get this tacked into place, I think I'm just gonna leave it to do the final welding for another day when it's not freezing out. The funny thing is, it's not even on our list right here. And there's side 2 tacked in place. I mean, that looks like it should be pretty strong. To be completely honest, I had no intentions of putting these in right yet. It's just, I want to get rid of these stupid boxes. How big that box is, man. I can live in that. And to be honest, I totally underestimated how much time that was going to take. Good job, Kyle. On the plus side, we got some fun things in the mail today. I found a Springer seat that I might try and adapt to fit this thing. This thing, not very comfortable, but it looked kind of cool for a little bit. But that seat should kind of fit in there if I cut those bars off and just put the front so it pivots, and then make a mount from the bottom down there to put springs in it. As you can see, it kind of fits in with the flow of the bike. We still need to paint this thing. And then we still need to put the gasket in the side. I have it. It's minus 24 outside right now. I'm not going to do that. And I have been thinking about it. The channel is pretty self-sustaining by itself. Like, I make enough from YouTube to support the YouTube videos and stuff. But I'm thinking I might make 2 more trikes. One, I think I'm going to try and make specifically for someone. And then the second one, I think I'm going to make it like a waffle, or like buy merch and get entered to win it kind of deal. And they're going to be labeled like Boosted Lifestyle 001, Boosted Lifestyle 002, just so they're like super unique and awesome. And then that way I can build maybe a couple every now and then. And then that way I have a cool thing that is from me with love, built with love. And that like there's only very limited out there. So if you at the track and you're rolling around on that thing and someone's like, hey, did Boosted Lifestyle build that? You'd be like, yes. But now that we have a lot of the undercar stuff done, I did place an order with Summit Racing and on Amazon to order a couple more things that we did need specifically on our list. Like I ordered the stuff for the coolant, I ordered the throttle cable, the belt tensioner, the IIC TPS, the front shocks, the plug wires. So really the next thing I need to be doing up here is finish the exhaust enough to run it. We need to get some good plug wires and coil situation set up, and then the fuel system. And then we should be able to fire this thing up again and make it run right. The wiring was left like this, but everything is there for the wiring. We just need to get it sorted out and pinned out. So if you're in my area and you want to come help out, make sure you hit me up. I'll help try and teach you some welding stuff, some wiring stuff, all the good stuff. I could just use a hand in here, man. I got this car to build, I got this car to build, and I'm only one dude. I can only do so much. I appreciate you guys sticking around. I had some fun in Mexico, but it is nice to be back and working. That took much longer than expected. The instructions said it was like 2 hours, and that's why I attacked it. But 2 hours in my time is like 4 hours, and then I realized that was just for the chassis stiffeners without the bracing, so I'm probably like 8 hours into this thing now. Make sure you like the channel. Every subscriber counts. We just passed 155,000, so stoked on that. So I really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. Peace easy, get that V. I'm saying it, and shop Black Sheep Industries.